In this tutorial series, we will replicate the game World War Z in Unity. This will be a really in-depth tutorial series in which we will cover everything like the player movement system, the UI, the multiple weapons. Different weapons will have different damages. We should be able to switch between the weapons and the enemy AI, the UI, the health, the enemy health, their health, and the animations and all that good stuff. So we will cover everything and we're gonna make it everything from scratch. This is the second part of the tutorial series in which we will learn how to make the vaulting system like we see in World War Z. In the end of the video, we will be able to make this. So in the previous video, we were able to make the movement system so that our player can run around, he can also walk around, and we also made the camera system kind of like this one. So if you have missed the first part of the tutorial series, then make sure you see that video first, otherwise you won't be able to understand what is happening in this video. So in order to make the vaulting system, of course we need some kind of a thing to vault over. So I'm gonna real quick take one cube, duplicate this guy, bring it right over here, and maybe make it smaller and make it larger and bring it somewhere over here. Now this is the thing that we're gonna vault over. I'm gonna go ahead and select the player as well as the camera base and move it backwards and move this guy backwards, and okay. Now this is the thing that we want to vault over, just like that. Good. Now in order to do that, of course we will be needing some kind of an animation. Now you can go to mixmo.com and you can search for vault, just like that. Mixmo basically is a really cool site from where you can basically upload your character, rig your character. It will automatically rig your character. This is how we rigged this character, and then we can come back and rig your character and find loads and loads and loads of animations over here. You can find a vaulting animation right over here, just like that. So he runs, vaults, and we need this animation right over here, and then we can transition to idle. Unity will do it. We don't have to sit like that like we are doing poops or so Unity will automatically transition from here to there. You can simply go ahead and download it and simply go ahead and drag it inside of Unity, just like that. There we go, inside of animations. Now once it is imported, you have to select the vault over animation, go to rig and set it to humanoid and say apply. Otherwise the animation won't work, and you have to click these two guys so that he is fully grounded, and bam. Good. So I'm not gonna use this animation. I'm gonna use this vaulting animation, which looks something like this. So he vaults over the box or anything like that, and there we go. Now this animation comes with this pack of rifle and set pro. Now this is a $50. You can basically buy it, but if you don't want to buy it like me, you can come in here and watch my video, which is this one, paid assets, 100% free, and you can basically download it. And let me just quickly show you guys. This is the website, free assets, and you can simply go ahead and say rifle anim set, or you can just say anim set, bam. And the first one, no, the second one, there we go. You can just simply download this shit, and I just simply downloaded it and import it in Unity. But you don't have to basically do it. I just did it to see what is in here. You can find loads of animations, but you can also find these animations in Mixmo. But because of this shit, I'm gonna use this animation, vaulting over. Just like that, simple as that. So this was the animator that we made in the previous video. We had idle, walk, and run, and now we're gonna go ahead and simply drag in the vaulting animation in there, just like that. This is how it looks like, bam. Now we should be able to transition to the vault and anywhere if we are moving from idle, if we are in walking state, and if we are running state. So we're gonna go ahead and add a boolean, which is true or false, and we're gonna say VAULT for vault, and we're gonna go ahead and add a drag and drop my player in there. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and say has exit time is false. Basically it means this whole animation of the idle will be played, and then we're gonna transition to the vaulting animation. That is not what we want, so we're gonna just disable that. So whenever the vaulting is true, we're gonna come in here. Has exit time false, vaulting is true. Has exit time false, vaulting is true. There we go. And then when we have completed the vault, we are gonna come back to the idle, and we're gonna go ahead, and this time we have the has exit time to true because we want to complete this animation, and then we're gonna come back to the idle just like that. But we also want to come back to the walking animation if the magnitude that we just made in the previous video. Magnitude basically is if the player is pressing WSD. So if it is less than 0.1, it means the player is not pressing the WSD, so it means we're gonna come back to the idle. But if the magnitude is greater than 0.1, it means the player is basically pressing WSD, which means he wants to walk, so we're gonna come back to the walk animation just like that. Now let's go ahead and try it out. If we play the game right now, and we have the control of vault right over here, so if we check that to true, there we go. If we check that to true, he's gonna do the vaulting animation, and if we set it to false, he's gonna come back to the idle animation. Simple as that. Good. So if we come over here and say check mark true, he's gonna vault over the box and keep on vaulting until this is false. Once it is false, he's gonna come back to the idle animation and he can walk around. Now we want to vault whenever we press the space bar, right? So in order to set this is true and false when we press space bar or not, we're gonna go to the FSM. If you don't know what Playmaker FSM is, then it means you haven't seen the first video of the tutorial series in which I explained briefly how to make all of this, and all of this as you see over here is made by without writing a single line of fucking code. So this is made by Playmaker. Playmaker is a really cool asset that helps you make games without writing a single line of code. So you can basically get it, you can buy it from asset store if you want to, but if you don't want to buy it, you can simply go ahead and download it for free. The link will be in the description box below. I personally will provide it to you guys so that you can make games without writing a single line of code, because this asset is really awesome. But I recommend you guys to buy it because it will help the developers who developed all of this, because they are really awesome guys. So with that said, let's go ahead and do some vaulting. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and come in the idle state, and we're gonna go ahead and say get button down. Get button down basically means when you hold a button, and the button that we want is jump. If you don't know what jump is, we're gonna go to the edit, project settings, input, and in there you can find all of these controls. If we select the jump, as you can see, it is called jump, and it is the positive button is basically spacebar. So jump basically is spacebar. So whenever we press the spacebar, we're gonna go through vault, and we're gonna do the same thing over here. So copy this, go to the running, okay, paste it in here just like that. So get button down jump, get button down jump. We're gonna add a new state and vault, new transition vault, and bam. So whenever we press the spacebar, we're gonna come in this state 1. In the state 1, we're gonna go ahead and say set animator bool. The bool that we want to set is the vault, and the vault is true. There we go. And we're gonna copy this, paste it in here, because when we are walking or when we are running, we're gonna set this to false. Where is it? Copy this guy, paste it in here. So set this to false just like that. Now if we play the game, we should see some kind of a vaulting action going on. So let's see the vaulting action. We pressed spacebar and he vaulted, and he keeps on vaulting because we are in the state 1 and we don't come out of the state 1. So in order to fix that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and say wait for 1 second, and then we're gonna come back to the walk or idle just like that. Bam. And in there we're gonna just disable the vault to false, and we will be good to go. I'm gonna save that and play the game and see if everything is working or not. So there we go, he is doing the idle animation. We can walk and then do the vaulting, and we're gonna come back to the idle animation. That is pretty fucking cool. If we run, do the vault, and he vaults over. But the thing is that now if I'm running and if I press space, he vaults over nothing, and that is magical. And that is of course not what we want. We want only to vault whenever we when there is some kind of an obstacle that we decide if he should be able to vault over or not. He should not be able to vault over this thing, right? Like that. So how do we fix that? Like, what the heck is he doing right now? Okay, so how do we fix that? Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna shoot a laser out of the player. If I come in the side state, so we're gonna shoot a laser from air somewhere, and it is gonna detect whether or not something is in front of the player. If it is front of the player, we're gonna check what is in front of the player. If it is a wall or if it is a box that we can vault over. So if it is a vaulting box, we will be able to vault over it, otherwise he won't do anything. So how do we do that is by making a new state, and whenever we press a space bar, we're gonna, instead of going in the vaulting state, we're gonna come in state 2. So I'm gonna call this one check, in which we are gonna check whether or not there is a vaulting box in front of the player or not. So we're gonna go ahead and say raycast. Raycast basically means a laser, and we're gonna shoot a laser out in front of the player. So we're gonna go ahead and make an empty game object in front of the player and bring it somewhere over here, just like that. And we're gonna say vault detector, just like that. And then we're gonna go ahead and specify the game object from which we're gonna cast the laser. So we're gonna go ahead and drag in the vault detector right over here, and the direction, in which direction do we want to shoot the laser. Of course in this direction, which is the Z direction, as you can see, right? So we're gonna go ahead and say direction and the Z +1, which means in this direction, and the laser will be 0.5 bigger, 0.5 longer. And then we're gonna go ahead and say debug the state, and we're gonna set the color to red. Basically debug means we should be able to see the laser. And now if you play the game, and if I press spacebar, we should be able to see the laser. If I press spacebar and if I select the player, there we go. Where the heck is the player? There it is, and we can see the laser. Now I think the laser is still too small, so I'm gonna increase the size to 0.8, and there we go. Now this laser is gonna detect whether or not something is in front of the player. Right now the laser is not hitting anything. It means we should not do the vaulting, right? And whenever it hits something, we are gonna detect which object it is hitting. If it is hitting this guy, we don't want to vault over it, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and say hit event, and we're gonna go ahead and say check obj. We're gonna check the object that we hit. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a new state right in down right here, bam, just like that. And we are also gonna store the game object that we hit. So store hit object, and gonna go ahead and new variable, and we're gonna store that in new variable, and we're gonna say test obj. We're gonna test this object, or we're gonna say hit object, hit obj. There we go. In here what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and say compare tag. So we're gonna compare the tag. Where is it? Game object compare tag. There we go. So we're gonna compare the tag of the game object. So we're gonna select the box, and we're gonna go ahead and call this vault box. There we go. And I'm gonna go ahead and drag it out just like that, so it is not inside of the map. And I'm gonna unpack. You don't have to do it. Okay, so this is the vault box, and here's the tag option. So we're gonna go ahead and add a new tag, and I'm gonna call this one vault obj. Okay, so this is the object that can be vaulted over, and we're gonna set the tag to vault object. Then we're gonna go ahead, and in here the object that we store is the hit object. So we're gonna test the object that we hit with the laser. Does it has the tag of the vault object? If it has, it means if it is true, we're gonna go ahead and vault. Simple as that. And bring it in here, vault, and we're gonna do the vaulting animation. If it is false, which means it is something like this, we're gonna go ahead and come back to the walk. Simple as that. And we're gonna come back in here, just like that. Now it looks complicated, but it is not. What we are doing is we are shooting a ray in front of the player from here, and whenever the laser hits something, in case like it hits this object, we're gonna store this object, and we're gonna come in here, and we're gonna say does this object that we just hit has the vault object tag? If it has, it means we should be able to vault over this object. Otherwise it does not have the tag, we're gonna come back in this state. Okay, one thing you have to keep in mind is that if I select the player, it has this collider over here, right? But if I select the ground detector, it is right inside that collider. So whenever the ray will be casted, it is always gonna collide with the player's collider. So that is not what we want. So we're gonna simply go ahead and bring it out just like that, so that it is not inside the player's collider. Select that and bring it back a little bit, and there we go. Good. So now it's not gonna collide with the players collider. So if you play the game right now and see if everything is properly working or not. So here we have the playmaker FSM, and we're gonna see every single thing that is happening. So here we have the player, and if I move forward and press space, he's gonna vault over the object. That is good. If I come over here and now press space, there we go, he comes back. As you can see, he just comes back from here. He's not gonna do the vaulting animation. Okay, good. And he's gonna vault over this. Good, nice. Everything is properly basically working. I love it. But one thing that I missed is that when I press space right now over here, and it is basically shooting the laser just like that, as you can see, but it's not gonna hit anything, and we are stuck in this state right here. So what to do now? We are just stuck in this state. It's not, the laser is not hitting anything because it's too small, and nothing is gonna come in this state, and we are just simply gonna stuck in this state. So how do we fix that? Well, basically we cannot fix that with this raycast. So we are gonna go ahead and import a new raycast, because there is no option for no hit event, right? So if I come to the assets, and if I simply go ahead and say raycast, and there is a raycast 2 over here. Now you will not be able to see this option, maybe because it is not the part of the playmaker, but in here you can see no hit event. There's a no hit event. That is what we want. So how do you get the raycast 2? Well, you have to get this folder, that is playmaker custom actions. The link will be in the description box below. You can simply go ahead and download it, and in there we have raycast 2. So you simply have to download this folder, playmaker custom actions, and simply drag it inside of Unity. Simple as that. Now we're gonna come back in the player, come back in here, and instead of raycast, we wanna go ahead and say raycast 2, and we are gonna simply do the same exact thing that we just did over here. Specify the game object, drag in the grounded detector just like that. We're gonna go ahead and set the direction to Z in 1, and we're gonna set it to point. I'm gonna copy this, paste it in here, and we're gonna go ahead and say hit event to check object none. Yeah, not hit event. We're gonna go ahead and come back to the walk. Just like that, right? Okay, and we are gonna store the hit object, right? Hit object just like that, and everything basically is good. So we're gonna delete the raycast, and we're gonna use the raycast 2, and now we have the option to come back whenever the ray is not hitting anything. Okay, so if I play the game right now, everything should properly work without any errors, without anything. So there we go. We can, if I press space right now, he comes back to the walk. If I am running and press space, he comes to walk. If I pause the game and come out and select the player, playmaker FSM, and make it smaller, you should be able to see that. So if I resume the game, now I'm running, alright, and if I press space, I come in there, and it says that the ray is not hitting anything, so we come back to the walk because we only have the option to walk. Alright, but we don't, if I'm running and if I press space, we should not do that. We should keep on running, right? So how do we fix that? Well, in order to fix that, we're gonna go ahead and come out and make a new state. Just select that, do that, add a new state over here, and if come over here, and instead of going to walk, we're gonna come in this state. All right, and in here we're gonna go ahead and say get animator bool, which is this one. Basically we're gonna get whether or not run is true. User owner run, if it is run is true, we're gonna store that in variable called simply call it run, and we're gonna say bool test. Bool test. There we go. This one, I'm gonna close that, and we're gonna test the run. If it is run is true, we're gonna go to the running. If it is false, we're gonna come back to the walk. Simple as that, right? So run, it goes to run, and walk goes to walk. So basically we are getting the this guy. Whenever this guy is true, it means we are running, and if it is false, we are walking. So if it is true, we're gonna go to run. If it's false, we're gonna come back to the walk. Simple as that. No rocket science. If I play the game right now, everything should properly work. If I'm running and press space, he is still running, and if I walk and press space, he is still walking. If I come over here and press space, he is not vaulting over here, but if I come over here and press space, he vaults over the box. Simple as that. Now you can simply go ahead and add multiple boxes. If I come out over here and if I select this guy, or if I simply go ahead and close everything and make a new 3D cube just like that one, and bring it over here and make it up a little bit so that so the level is up, and make it down like that, and there we go. Now if I come over here and make sure the tag is set to vault object so that we can vault over this thing, and I'm gonna do nothing else, and we should be able to vault over that. So now if I come over here and bam, he is able to vault over it. Simple as that. He is able to vault over it. Bam. Now this is how you add the vaulting system in your game. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and in the next video I will make the shooting system. Let me just quickly show you guys, because I already have made it, the aiming system. This is the scene that I just made, in which I made the vaulting system as well as the shooting, or the aiming system basically. So I already had made the vaulting system. It looks something like this, right? And I have the crosshair over here, and if I hold the right click, he is gonna go in the zooming and in the aiming animation, just like that. And as you can see, he looks up and down and left and right, and we can also move around left, right, and he basically does that. So that is pretty cool. So this is what we're gonna learn in the next video. The camera zooms in. As you can see, the depth of field, that looks pretty awesome. The character goes in blur and everything is in focus, and we can see everything right now. Yeah, pretty cool. And then of course we're gonna add the firing animation. So thanks for watching this video, and make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon so that you don't so that is it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any future videos, and you get notified whenever I upload a tutorial, because this tutorial series is pretty in-depth and it is time consuming to make all of this. So if you want to support me, make sure you subscribe to this channel, and that will really help me out, because subscribing is free. Yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.